All right, what we're doing today is we're going to talk about Manhunter 2 San Francisco. And this picks up directly after the very first Manhunter, in which you are a manhunter in pursuit of Phil, who has gone around killing other manhunters and killing other people, and basically doing some shady stuff. So it is your job to find Phil and put a stop to him. But naturally, along the way, you end up getting involved in some other stuff. Now, something that's different about Manhunter 2 is if you watch my first video where I comment about the first Manhunter, I complain a lot about the arcade sequences and stuff like that. They seem to have took whatever feedback they got back in the day, and in all of the arcade sequences, there is an option to make it hard, normal, or easy for the sake of this commentary video and the video recording. I put them all on easy every single time because I didn't want to spend 6 hours just trying to avoid robots in a warehouse. That'll make sense here in a moment. But if you've enjoyed what I've done the commentary videos. I also upload a ton of Johnny Castaway screensavers. I also upload some Sierra music that I've been splicing up together in between while I do the playthroughs and the commentaries, because I am employed, so I cannot do this full time because there's not enough subscribers. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. If you'd like to subscribe, or tell your friends and family to subscribe, and that way perhaps one day I can make money off of this channel. Probably never happen, but that's all right, because I am actually currently employed, so that's fine. But who can't use a little extra money? So, if you want to, go ahead and click subscribe. Or tell your friends and family, hey, you know what, this guy's pretty cool. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel. It's really awesome. Anyway, all that aside, we are starting Manhunter 2. It starts off just like every other Manhunter. You have taken the identity of someone that you actually crash landed on, and he happens to be a Manhunter as well. So you open up your MAD and begin tracking for the orbs. Now, something that is very strange about Manhunter 2, and I don't know why they did it, is they introduce a second version of the orbs. And later on in the game, you'll go into the museum and you'll say these two worlds meet and form an alliance. So it is the single-eyed orb, and what you'll see in Manhunter 2, which is the two-eyed orb with a nose and a mouth. I personally prefer the original orbs because they look a little more creepy, a little more frightening. I feel like the orbs introduced in this game, and they are the primary and only orbs that you really see, look kind of silly. So let's talk about this. Where I'm at right now is I'm on the pier, and you'll see there is that little tunnel right there. Now, a quick note. If you die here, which is what will happen no matter what, you will always die when you go in that tunnel. If you restore, the game will not end that day. So there was a whole segment where I died there, and just out of habit, even though it resets you back, I always, sometimes out of habit, unless it's a maze like this, you can see there's 4 robots because I've not changed the difficulty yet. I wanted to try it with the normal difficulty, but it is insanely hard. But anyway, going back to the pipe in the beach, there's this whole section where if you don't die there and just let it happen and just get, just let the game pop you back, if you restore, day 1 actually never ends. So there was a whole segment of this that I had played and was spinning around in circles like, why? Why isn't day 1 ending? And I actually had to Google it and figure out, oh, you actually have to let this thing kill you. So there is a huge chunk that was cut out for the sake of editing purposes. And let's talk about this thing where you jump into this pool and you have to hit enter to basically spin to prevent going down the drain and dying. But what you want to do is shoot over to that other part over to the right. You would think you could just walk over there, because how deep can this water truly be that you are swimming and spinning in a drain? Because when you look at the water, there's no indication that there's a drain there. It doesn't look like it's funneling down a hole. So it's a little odd. Like at first I just kept walking in it going, why am I walking into this drain? But it is possible to do it. It just takes a little bit of determination. And when you get to this scene, you're going to take a look around. This guy has had his throat slit. He's got this dragon tattoo, which is going to be predominant everywhere. That newspaper article talks about the monkey race, the monkey mouse dog race combination. And that name on the door looks like bat vomit, which who has a name of bat vomit? But clearly, if you're on the other side of the door, that name is going to read something else. So that's all you have to figure out is, hey, that name is something else. And you find another dead body when you go to the west, and then you also find a fang in this guy's throat, which is very important because you'll need that fang later. Because what happens, and you'll see it when it happens, is I end up dead ending because I got the fang, but I didn't do something with the fang that should have maybe been sort of maybe obvious, but it wasn't obvious to me. So I'd moved on and got to a point where you can't get back from where you're at, and it was near the end of the game. Thankfully, it wasn't that far ahead, where the thing you need and the dead end happen. Now, a quick note, this is something I didn't know about this. First, uh, obviously make the arcade sequence as easy as possible, and don't move forward. So I found this out thanks to Not Bob Smith on the Sierra Help forums. If you enjoy Sierra games, you should go to sierrahelp.com/forums, register, a bunch of cool, great people there. But the rats and bats do stop. So just hang out at the left where you have the most amount of time to react to them coming versus doing what I did where I kept edging forward and saving and just punching and kicking and dying repeatedly, as you can see here. It just happens over and over and over. So the idea is actually just hang out at the far left and let them come to you. This is a lesson I did not learn because I kept restoring and saving, moving forward. And see, restored back. So you do eventually make it through, and there's an ID here with the name Stone. There's a rat-looking thing that is holding a vial. You want to make sure to grab that vial. And then it says, "Me be man again someday." So clearly, the rat thing people don't want to be what they are. They want to be human again. So clearly, something weird is happening here. So I named the save game ... because I tried to pass this on normal difficulty, but 4 robots just tear you apart. Switch it down to easy, and what'll eventually happen is there'll be 2, which proves to be much easier, but I still die quite a few times once I figured out how to move quickly around them, saving the game as such crap. And then Zach, me hurt, me got it. And just like the first one, you want to take note of the names you find because you'll typically find a first name and somewhere you'll see like a torn piece of paper where it's like the last name. So what you're going to want to do is use MAD to try to determine what these people's names are. Like you'll try like Zach Stone, Zach West, and when MAD finds something, you'll know you have the right name. And that is something that I actually do forget for a while. There's something that you need to put someone's name in to basically find their apartment. And I was spinning in circles, just basically going off what the tracking had unlocked for me. And eventually remembered, hey, I'm supposed to search names that I've found and start piecing names together until I noticed a new area unlock. And I think that's the time where just now, because I'd restored before, where I knew to clip that part out. Because I think it was the second time that I kept restoring, or the first time I kept restoring, and I'd gone back after I learned to make sure, oh, die here, and so you can move it forward. So right now I'm just kind of zooming around the map, checking out the area, see what I can go to. I try to see if there's anything new that I haven't gone to yet. Kind of look at some of the inventory items, see if I get a clue. And Peter Brown is the person that you landed on and whose identity you are assuming. And something Manhunter does is a ton of super vague clues. that don't make a lot of sense, but once you see how it works, you're like, oh, well, that was a very difficult roundabout riddle clue thing. And this is the other thing that has to happen. So this dog in Tad's apartment has to kill you. So if you restore, um, day one doesn't end. So we assume this is some kind of bug, that if you restore from either the thing in the tunnel killing you, or if you restore from the dog killing you, your day ends. And to be honest, when when the orbs ask for names, I don't know that it ever actually makes a difference. And see, here's the orb with the two eyes. It looks much sillier than the single-eyed orb. And the thing is with this game, you definitely want to not just track one person because then you're not going to get all the locations. So you literally have to watch each one happen. One thing that I do wish is sometimes two people will head to the same place. And I wish you could skip while they're traveling on the road so you can just get to where they're going. Because sometimes two people will start one place and you're tracking one of them. They go to place B and you're like, okay. And then one of them goes to place C and the other one goes to a different place. And so you go back to the first one, track, and you select the other person, and they both, go to A and B. But while they're going on the road from A to B, you already know they're going to the same place. So I wish there was this way to skip the road travel if you know they're already headed to the same place. So that's why you'll see me several times coming back, tracking the same thing, because I'm tracking different people, trying to unlock all the locations that I can go to. And this one's a little deceiving because you see him walk in and then he walks up to that chair, which is not what you have to do when you get to the temple. You'll see that when I get there, but it looks like you're supposed to walk up and go to that specific chair like he did. Nope. Something else totally different happens. And I don't think it's very clear. So make sure to grab the muzzle. You can already guess what's going to happen. You notice that he is missing a finger when you go to the boat. We're on day 2 now. The game did feel much shorter, and that could be because the arcade sequences were able to be set to easier, so you didn't spend as much time. And also, there isn't a lot of time where you're running in mazes. So in this one, there is a pattern to this, but what I eventually did was just overload my keyboard by hitting left, 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 left until I got all the way around, instead of trying to figure out a pattern. And what you want to do is do a full circle. Don't stop at the top, which is what I did the first time. So you need to save that guy, and he shows his face because you'll recognize him later. So now that door is locked, the chain is on there, so now you can't get in there. So this is where the temple is, where I said it just looks like it goes to the first chair where that ninja guy appeared, and you have to block these stars. And again, I tried it on normal, whatever that difficulty is. I don't know if that's considered hard or normal for first. But I do try a few times to do the puzzle as it is, but eventually just give up and put it on easy for the sake of this walkthrough. And all you have to do is just keep blocking the stars, and eventually they'll disappear and the statue just to the north will move. This one took me a while. I actually had to look at all the faces and then write down their locations, to piece together about what you're supposed to do. One of them talks about the gateway to heaven and all of that. So what you want to do is look at it in the order of that one clue. So there is a pause here because I'm writing down which ones are where. So I figured out the first one. Now there's a second part. There you go. So that's obviously 4, and this took me a second because it's so F and then an or, so 4, and then P, and then it looks like a ruler, but pooler isn't anything. So I did like pafut, and then I did pinch, and then it made sense. 4 pinch, but it'll actually mean 4 pinches. And it's interesting, like the guy in front of you just takes the branding. So it seems like the obvious choice that you would do the same. Spoiler alert, it's not. You apparently freak out and fall in the acid. So you grab a scroll and then you have a few seconds to do something else. And there was a clue about going west. So out the window. There it is. West is our only chance. And when I went through that window, I was pretty sure it was a painting. And right there, I made a mistake. I ended up just traveling away from there. You're actually supposed to move. And I'll go back to it eventually because I end up getting stuck. But you're supposed to move. Anyway, so the dog comes out. When you go back to Tad's, you use the muzzle on him, and he runs away. So what you want to do is kind of look at everything in Tad's apartment. So that guy has a P carved in his head, and there's an S on his arm, which now you know is the guys that you were tracking. You see the S. So, and say here we go again with N dot Goring. So again, we get like a first initial last name, but now we know there's an N. And we see another guy with the doctor having a P carved in his head, and there was something I was supposed to grab in that room, but I didn't. So clearly, up to this point, I should say I was doing all of these without a walkthrough because you can clearly see I'm making several mistakes that I have to go back and eventually correct. There is a part at the very end of the game. There's 2 spots actually where I need a specific card to do something in a card reader, and I didn't get it. And that ties to the Fang where I had mentioned I got stuck at the dead end at the end. And then there's a thing that I don't even know how to describe it where you have to move people into a room, do this with that, do this with that, and the robots burn them. And I tried a number of things that I thought were logical, things that I thought made sense, and none of it after 10, 15 tries worked. So I did end up looking at the official walkthrough for that to see what their suggestion was on how to beat that. So there is 2 things at the very end that I ended up needing the walkthrough for. But up until that point, everything was me just stumbling along. I hadn't played Manhunter 2 probably since it came out. A lot of the older Sierra games, my friend Sean and I used to play hours on end. We'd spend hours on end playing these games and just staying the night at one another's house back when we were much younger and playing these games. So a lot of the older games have muscle memory. He and I played the first Manhunter together, Manhunter New York. However, Manhunter 2, when it came out, neither one of us were super into the Manhunter, the first game, just because it was such a different game than any other Sierra game. So when Manhunter 2 came out, it was pretty much just me. I'd bought it because it was a Sierra game, and I just bought anything that Sierra kicked out, even if I didn't like the first one. So when I played Manhunter 2, it was just strictly me. So there isn't a lot of muscle memory to this game, unlike the first Manhunter, where I can kind of remember, oh yeah, I remember when me and Sean laughed about this, or we joked about that. This one, it's pretty much just my memory from eons ago, because I don't think I've repeatedly played this game like I have the other ones. So it's important to watch what crate he went to press something that opens up a secret gate. And a fight breaks out and throws the body in there. Again, super important to track as many people as you can so you know where you can go and unlock stuff. Another thing I didn't really enjoy when you're tracking people, if you've accidentally tracked the wrong person, um, you can get to certain skips, but sometimes the only option is to close. And if you reopen to track, it tracks the same person you were just tracking to finish it, versus a way to cancel who you're tracking because you want to track someone else because you've accidentally clicked on the same person. Because when you're tracking people, if there's more than one and they're walking right on top of each other, it's hard to tell which one you're clicking on. So it makes it difficult in that regard. So I wish there was a way to say, oh crap, you know what? I'm tracking the same person again. Let me cancel that track, go back into my tracker and try to track someone new. But that is not the case. So here you can look in the door, get a quick preview, and see that there's robots running around, similar to the robots at the warehouse that just are there to run you over. So what you do is you ride the thing all the way, hit the bar, and the robot runs you over. So it takes a number of times. Also, you can't touch those crates because apparently they're super high voltage and will electrocute you. And I've talked about this in the other playthroughs. Sometimes you'll see where it looks like the save game is just locked. What I'm actually doing is I'm alt tabbing into the game folder, and I'm taking all my save games and moving them into a folder for my save games so that when I go to save, I'm not overwriting any games. And so when I go back in to save, it's just a blank save because it doesn't see any save games. So again, you look in there, you see another dead Manhunter person. He has a note on him, and he has a P carved in his head. So you know Phil is hard at work again, trying to kill people, or actually successfully killing people, I should say. So you ride the cart out and move along your merry way. So as soon as that slider opened and I saw the big eyes, I knew I was already as good as dead because it looks like the thing that's in the sewer pipe next to the pier, which would be the rat, dog, monkey, people things. So I looked up Noah Goring to get another location because I'd been flying around and not seeing anywhere else I could go. So Noah Goring is who I was missing. So somewhere on the map is something for Noah Goring, which is here. Oh no, this is the doctor, sorry. This is where I was gonna grab. Yeah, I grabbed what is the urine sample and put it in the remedy bottle. And me being witty with the you're in trouble save name. Get it? Because it's urine, as in you're in trouble. Okay, never mind. Listen, these are the jokes in this video. That's all I got. They're dad jokes. Not even a dad. So anyway, we go here and we find the notes from Noah's place. And this threw me off because something happens after I read the final note, which made me restore thinking something bad had happened because the Murrays show up. So you see, I just read the three notes and it says, meanwhile, Phil shows up, takes over the thing. Ta-da! And it has the RIP, but then returns me back. So I was like, what just happened? It's really weird. So you take the matchbook. I do wonder if that was their actual valid address for Sierra back then, or for Ivory Eyewear. And I guess it makes sense now that I think about it in hindsight that there was white thread there. See, when I watch the commentary, things come back. This happened, I think, in the first Manhunter video where suddenly it dawned on me what something was. I mentioned earlier where I messed up about the white thread. Now, the white thread being stitched there shows who that other body was. We haven't seen it yet, but we'll get there when we get to the museum. Tried to show him the fang. Nope, that's not it. Clearly, this would have been much easier if I just went by the hint book and stuff like that and just played it that way. But where's the fun of actually exploring a game you haven't played in forever, which is why I've been redoing this. Like, there's several Sierra games that I play repeatedly, but there are some that I have not played in ages, and that would be the Manhunter series. Also, I should point out that it does not remember if you put the game in easy arcade sequence. Every time it goes into an arcade sequence, it already assumes whatever the default is, whether that's normal or hard. So every time you enter a arcade sequence, even if you've done it before and saved the game, you have to basically resave the game or reset the arcade sequence back down to easy. And we can see here that the door at the top is locked. So, and the thing is, this is where I got the clue about going west, but now the door is locked. So what we're going to do is just try to go west and ta-da! So we're going to grab 4 pinches and then smoke the pipe and get a vision. And he gives you a statue while he cries. So you're going to have to remember that face you just had a vision of because you will see her again. Let's see, this is what I was talking about, where you see someone's first name and you have like IDs with the last name and stuff like that, where the first name's cut out. So you literally just have to type names together until MAD shows you it is someone and it unlocks potentially something to do. And this one was eventually a lucky guess because I noticed that there's nothing I can do here except look at this guy. So just going down, show him the statue, show him some stuff. So it's unclear what to do, but I think this is where I do a lucky guess, like put something in the mouth. Nope, it's not that. Hit it with the mallet. Hey! So this is where we go in the Science Museum for the first time. And this is where it talks about the 2 planets that unite. So this is the single-eyed orb and then the double-eyed orb united. And you can see them there. I think the single-eyed orb were far better. And if you notice, you can go up into the chimney. And it didn't fit, but I was going to type Mr. Ballin would tell you no. And if you don't know who Mr. Ballin is on YouTube, I highly recommend checking out his channel. He's a fantastic storyteller who talks about people who have disappeared and creepy stories and stuff like that. And a lot of there are stories where people have disappeared, where they've decided to either climb up or climb down a chimney and gotten stuck and died there. So the joke was that no, it's not a good idea to climb the chimney ever. And the Ghirardelli puzzle that we're seeing here while it's being tracked is similar to one that was in the first Manhunter one, where electricity comes down the wires, but this one it is actually random. It just shoots out and then bolts in a random direction. So you can't even really see it coming straight down because it may not come straight down. It may suddenly bolt to the left or to the right or back up. So you'll see what I mean when I get there. And I end up doing that thing like 3 times because of the dead end. I couldn't remember if I had gotten what is on the body that ends up stuck up there. So super fun doing that 3 times. So you go in there, don't go into there though, because there is a thing with his hand who's been severed, but climb the rope. And there's a few things. If you have the beaker still, don't go down this side door because something bad happens. as in the beaker breaks. And if you do that, you will dead end. So knowing that the beaker broke, I thought, let's do whatever is over here. Now, this time, I don't have what I need yet. So I literally climb all the way over for no reason this first time because I'm missing something. I try a number of things to try to get what I need from this guy, but it doesn't happen. And also you have to come up from below because you can see that that top one is broken. So you have to make your way all the way from to the left and then up and then around and come up on his right side. But at this time, as I'm climbing, I don't know. I don't have what I need. And for any hair metal bands, they might get that reference of Still Climbing dash Cinderella. It's a 80s band named Cinderella, whose one of their albums, I believe, was called Still Climbing, if I remember correctly. So there's some 80s random trivia for you. And you can see a ring, and if you try to grab it, you get electrocuted. So don't grab it. But you do need it. So there's going to be a number of things I try, like hitting it with a mallet, which doesn't make sense, but whatever. Just kind of looking to see if there's anything else. Get it with a cloth. Nope. So go ahead and make my way back down and leave because I'm missing something. So give her the laundry ticket. She goes back, says something to that guy, gives you a sexy wink. And you're like, yeah, okay. And you see the guy that's familiar. He freaks out because you've just been clubbed over the head. He comes out, rescues you. Now I make another mistake. And when they show the door, I just leave. And you can't get back over there to do anything. And she won't do anything if you don't have a laundry ticket. So I thought, that's really weird. Why did I just get clubbed over the head and not really benefit from it? So something seemed off. So I started exploring around, trying to see what am I missing? Like, am I supposed to somehow be able to defend myself against this guy, or what's going on? So give her the laundry ticket. Let's try this again. Goes back, gives you a sexy wink. Go in. Like, yep, I'm ready. Hey, friend. Oh, clubbed in the head again. Comes over. Since I helped him, he is there to help me. He's the guy that, if you have a very short memory, he is the guy that, see, there's a stick right there that I totally thought was stairs or something, or a door, or a basement. But he's the guy that you rescued from the robot where I was just running in a circle to get him to be free. So he's repaying his debt. So now I've got a walking stick, and we're going to see if that's what I need to get the necklace that's around this guy's neck. And it was. So then you get the ring, and it has this weird symbol, which we ironically saw when I did the mess up where I went down the stairs and broke the vial. But clearly in my playthrough at the time, I forgot that's where it was at because I just started going around everywhere. It was like, where was that thing where the where the gate was with that symbol? So the guy who's looking at the rat finger, if you offer him the rat hand that you found in the alley of the Ghirardelli, he will offer you to play a game of cards, but keep in mind he only does it once. So if you fail to know where the ace is, that's it. So you actually literally have to restore versus saying, hey, can we play again? And the easiest way to do this, and this is what I did to start passing it, because I think I mess up once or twice. Yeah. I end up, when it reveals where the ace is, I put my finger on the screen and literally trace my hand following that card exactly rather than just following my eyes. And from here on out, it's all aces. So I can't remember how many rounds you have to win. It's like 3 or 5 or 6 or 7. Um, but it's a number of rounds, and it tries to mislead you, similar to the first Manhunter game where you go play the carnival games, and if you do, if I feel like you hit something, so like right there, you can get a flashlight or a lantern, which seems like they would be useful items. Like, oh, clearly I'm gonna head somewhere in the dark. But one of the options was to keep playing. So I was like, okay, well, what do I get if I keep playing? So since I had the pattern of just put my finger on the damn card and follow it on the screen, it was much easier than trusting where my eyes are going, trying to follow this card. It becomes very obvious that don't take the flashlight or lantern, take the next set of prizes. And you can see one of them kind of looks like a rat thing and one looks like a dog. Now, I took the rat thing because the dead rat thing that you see in the bed, which turns out to be the right thing because I thought, so now we have to go back to either the sewer and wear the rat mask, or let's try this private club and wear the mask. So I go here, wear the mask, and immediately know this is the right place. Now, I think I do die once or twice here. And I don't think I can, I don't remember what the significance of the S's. I mean, we do see several bodies that have that branding, but for the life of me, when I played the game, I don't remember what it was. And so it looks like I did something wrong, but it takes me a minute and I figure out what it is. Like when it says let's take you back a moment, it always takes you back to right before the rats kill you. So you know there's something you're supposed to do right before they actually kill you. Their mouths are already open. So what you do is you hand them the vial that looks like the remedy because they all want to be human again and they're fighting over what is actually urine. Now, if you watch the tracking, one of the person's bodies ends up here. So there's the white string through the tie. So I should have known something was up. I should have known right there something was up. Also, don't climb up the don't climb up the chimney if the dead body's there. I should have known something was up, but I was like, okay, white string, whatever. And I didn't piece it together. That will bite me in the rump when I reach the end of the game, which we're not too far from. That's where we're going to go ahead and use the ring, climb through. But that does bite me in the end for not doing that because you do get to a spot where you cannot return back to the previous spot. And so you land on Phil, grab the little weird orb eye thing, which you'll need at the end. And he throws you out, and it seems like something's wrong, but I figured it out. Since I don't have the rat mask, you use the flash to blind them because they all live in the dark. You jump over the guy that is at the sewer entrance, which is kind of funny. And it's literally like, what just happened? Like, I landed on him, I took the thing, and this part I actually remembered doing. Now, it's different than what I remembered, but I remembered going under the pier with a hatchet, and I thought we hatchet that broken piece of the pier down. But as soon as I clicked under the hatchet and saw the hole, I was like, oh, that's right. We climb up there. But I thought we did something to the pier to cause like some chaos and we get in through the chaos, but it's not. And this is where I'm about to dead end is you are taken to Alcatraz, which is end game stuff. And this part takes forever. They should have really shortened this. And this is sped up. And it's still taking a while for this dude to climb all the way up to this warehouse. Me with my puns. This is just great. So what you're going to do is go into the robe and you're going to hatchet your way out. I think it's so weird that he trips over the board and throws the hatchet into the wall. Now you notice there's these things that you can click on and look at. So you're going to want to look for what you had the vision of. And there she is. She was one from your vision. So you want to give her the statue that the guy gave you. And here's where I dead end. So I'm looking for some kind of identification card. Thought it would be that, but nope. Just nope. Nope. Just lots of nope. So there's nothing I could do here because I'm actually missing something, which is a orb card. And this is one of the things I ended up having to look up and realizing, oh, the white thread. I should have done something with it. And that is actually use the fang to cut it open, which is not super obvious. But there you go. So you take that, you're going to go back. And here's what I was talking about, where you go back down, go through here, and I don't have the ring. So this made me think, well, damn it. I didn't do the Ghirardelli thing, so I have to go back and do this. But what you're going to see happening is the ring is not going to be on him. So I don't know if this is a bug or something happened, or if the gate is now just considered unlocked, because I've already technically done the gate. So it's just weird. I don't know if this is a bug, because you can clearly see he doesn't have the ring. But I don't have the ring at all to get in the gate. So let's just try it again. Go back in here. Sail all the way around, speed it up some more to get him up that hill much faster. And we're going to go ahead and use the hatchet to get out. Fall, go find her again, give her the statue. And now we're going to do the card. And we have the card, and the camera obviously was the orb thing to make it see that. Which, okay, it didn't need to see that it was alive. And Ming, who was the girl that you gave a statue to, she grabs you and throws you in a hot air balloon and smiles and waves goodbye as all these mutants are pouring out of Alcatraz and swimming towards the shore. So I assumed this was going to be a air balloon survival thing, because they kind of do weird things like that. But it turns out you really only have one option, which is turn it on. And I kept dying because of the gas. So this took me a second when I realized, wait, I have a matchbook. So let's light the gas. And sure enough, there you go. And in the event you're wondering, you do have to pilot it, of course. And what you want to do is you want to land on top of the castle thing. Right there. And you will fall through, fall, and land in this room. Land on one of the orbs and kill them. Meanwhile, the mutants show up and start ripping apart the orbs. Make it look like they're in egg yolk. This dude is like not having it. He's like, I'm blowing them all up. Boom. So now this is the part where I had to eventually. So the orb card was the first thing because I didn't know that I was supposed to cut the tie to get it. So that is the first thing. So you see a thing on the left that says lava, slaves, and robots. So there's one of these pen rooms that's called slavery. So I thought, okay, well, let's move them all there because that seems logical. And you can see robots are right there. There's a door to the right that is closed. And if you click lava, you can see there's lava in there because it is yellow. So I thought, okay, well, we'll put all the slaves in the slave thing, put the robots in the robot room, and then just close the door to the north, and then open the door to the right of the robots, and that'll flood the robots in the lava, and I'll be done with robots. Like, we're done. Cool. This is it. This seems like a super easy puzzle. Did not turn out to be the case, because even though you see the robots perish in lava, they all drop in apparently from the same hole that you dropped in from. And if you do something wrong, you actually flood the entire city of San Francisco with lava, as you can see several times. And this is sped up of me trying numerous times to try to figure out what is to be done here. So I tried a number of different things. Robots keep showing up and I keep restoring. I want to say I honestly tried like 10 or 15 different times before I was like, okay, I'm just going to look at the hint thing and figure this out. And there's some that I actually cut out because I'd done it so many times. I left, I want to say like, I think I left about 8 of these in. It might have been more. I mean, I may have done this 20 times and just not remembered. But I did cut out a bunch of them because I'd done it so many times before I finally said, I'm just going to do the hint book thing. And this is what I'm doing. So the hint book says close all the doors. And what you're going to want to do is move the slaves to the slave pen and then the robots to that bottom area just to the left of the lava, which made sense. And so I was partially right. Get the slaves in the slave room, move the robots to that bottom one at the very bottom, just to the left of the lava. But the doors that I had to open is where I was incorrect. So you're going to want to open the door just above them, and then above and to the right, and then there's one more door up a bit that you want to open. And you would think that'd be the end of the game, but it's not. No, because you also have to drill your way out. So now we open that door, so that floods those robots. And if you open that one, it floods without ending the game, so we're okay so far. And then you're going to want to open that one, and it begins flooding the towers, and all the people start turning normal, which I took to notice that they obviously, if you've ever played Ancient Art of War, they used Ancient Art of War graphics for these people. Like all the men look straight up from Ancient Art of War. I thought it was a bold move that when the women changed, except for Ming, when the women changed, they were all naked, including breasts that showed 2 dots for nipples. Kind of a bold move for a game that doesn't give any warning of any quote unquote nudity. But the violence in this game outshines any form of nudity. Like there's so much quote unquote grotesque violence. Like arms are severed, fingers are severed. There's half decaying bodies. You're looking at corpses left and right. So nudity probably not a thing. And that code comes from, I want to say it was either the card or the dude's arm. You see this code. And now you literally have to pilot your way through this lava. And unlike in Manhunter 1, where you bounce off things, if you touch the lava, it's just like the game where the carpet's lava, you just die. So this took me a few times. I thought it was the easy path of going straight up and then you just go out, but no. This takes quite a few times before I realized, nope, it's a Manhunter game. They have to make it super complex. You have to go up, over to the right, back down, up, and then to the left or to the right to actually get out, and then you'll be able to surface at the top. So what I'll do is I'll quiet and just let this part be sped up in the post editing. So you don't have to watch me die 1,000 deaths here in the lava. You'll just see how I eventually make my way out. All right, so we finally make it out, and we see Phil. He looks angry, and also I should point out earlier, when you do fall on him, it's revealed he's a robot. He makes his escape, and you cling on to dear life with a question mark of the end. So it definitely leaves you hanging, and if you do press enter, something does happen. But what is that? Oh, to be continued. But Manhunter 3 never does see the light of day. So if you like what I did, please click like and subscribe. Thanks.